don't know what the big deal is about the fact that Caitlin is getting a lot of love. She deserves that, and she's helped change this game just as a lot of other players have. But it is what it is. And I think that we are all benefiting from the effects that she's had on the game. And I just appreciate the way she showed.
The discussion surrounding endorsement deals adds another layer to the contrast between rising WNBA stars. When Reebok signed Angel Reese, the agreement was widely interpreted as a bet on her future influence. Companies often invest in athletes based not only on current performance but also on personality, marketability, and long-term potential. Reese's charisma, outspoken confidence, and large social media following made her an appealing figure for a brand seeking to reconnect with younger audiences. Brand partnerships built on potential are common in sports marketing. Companies sometimes prioritize cultural visibility over immediate statistical dominance, especially when an athlete has the ability to generate viral moments and maintain a strong connection with fans. Reese's podcast, interviews, and energetic personality all contribute to a recognizable brand identity that extends beyond basketball games themselves. Meanwhile, another marketing strategy has been unfolding around Caitlin Clark. Her endorsement agreement with Nike has often been discussed as a data-driven investment tied directly to measurable performance indicators. Clark's games regularly produce record television ratings, sold-out arenas, and surging merchandise sales. These numbers provide concrete evidence of the commercial value she brings to the league. From a business perspective, the difference between these strategies is significant. One deal is built largely on personality and potential future impact, while the other is supported by immediate metrics such as viewership growth, ticket demand, and revenue generation. Neither approach is inherently wrong, they simply reflect different marketing philosophies. Reese herself has spoken openly about her ambitions to influence the growth of women's basketball. On her podcast, she once stated that when people look back decades from now, they may recognize that the sport's popularity did not grow because of just one player. In her view, multiple athletes, including herself, have played roles in expanding the game's visibility. That statement highlights her belief that personality, storytelling, and cultural engagement can shape the league's future just as much as statistics. However, critics often return to the numerical comparison that sparked the debate in the first place. Michael Jordan finished his career with a field goal percentage above 50%, reflecting extraordinary efficiency across thousands of games. Reese's early professional numbers, particularly around the rim, have been significantly lower. For many analysts, that statistical gap makes the Jordan comparison difficult to justify. The contrast between brand narrative and performance metrics therefore remains at the center of the conversation. Some fans admire Reese's willingness to speak boldly and build her own identity within the sport. Others argue that sustained excellence on the court should always remain the primary measure of greatness. Regardless of which perspective one supports, the debate illustrates the changing landscape of professional basketball. In the modern era, influence is measured through multiple channels: statistics, endorsements, media presence, and cultural conversation. Players who successfully combine all of these elements often become the most powerful figures in the sport.
But she literally got called out for missing layups. I mean, on her own.
The final element that intensified the entire debate was the response from one of the most respected voices in women's basketball history. When Lisa Leslie addressed Angel Reese directly during their conversation, she did not rely on criticism or insults. Instead, she focused on perspective. Leslie has spent decades in the sport as a dominant player, a champion, and a mentor to younger generations. Her career includes multiple titles, MVP awards, and a lasting reputation as one of the most skilled post players ever to compete in the WNBA. Because of that background, her words carried significant weight. Leslie explained that comparisons to icons such as Michael Jordan should come with careful reflection. Jordan's legacy is built on sustained excellence across an entire career, championship runs, legendary performances, and statistical dominance that has been studied for decades. Invoking that legacy naturally invites intense scrutiny. Leslie's message was not necessarily about discouraging confidence. Confidence has always been a defining trait of great athletes. Instead, she emphasized the importance of letting achievements speak for themselves over time. In professional sports, reputations are built through consistency, resilience, and the ability to perform under pressure year after year. For younger players, hearing that perspective directly from a pioneer of the league can be a valuable learning experience. Many legendary athletes have shared similar advice with the next generation: focus on improvement, let the results accumulate, and allow history to determine how greatness is defined. The exchange between Leslie and Reese quickly circulated online because it represented a rare moment of mentorship in real time. Fans were not simply watching a debate, they were witnessing the transfer of wisdom from one era of the sport to another. Moments like this highlight the evolving culture of women's basketball, where new stars and established legends frequently interact in public discussions about the future of the game. At the same time, the broader spotlight remained on Caitlin Clark, whose rising popularity continued to drive record ratings and commercial opportunities for the league. Clark's influence demonstrated how performance and visibility can combine to elevate an entire sport. Her games consistently attracted massive audiences, and sponsors increasingly recognized the financial potential of women's basketball. In many ways, the contrast between these storylines illustrates two different paths to influence within modern sports culture. One path emphasizes bold personality, branding, and the power of narrative. The other focuses on measurable impact, statistics, viewership, and tangible economic growth for the league. Both elements play roles in shaping the future of professional basketball. Ultimately, the debate surrounding Reese's comments may fade over time as new seasons unfold and careers develop. What will remain is the larger conversation about how greatness is defined in women's basketball. Is it measured through championships, efficiency, and statistical dominance? Or can cultural influence and personality carry equal weight? As the league continues to grow, players will likely shape the answer themselves through their performances, their voices, and the legacy they leave behind.
It's just a fact. She is, it's more than a fact. She is not good at layups. But I was looking at her stats. I jotted some down right here, and she shoots an abysmal 39% from the field. She shot below 50% on shots less than 5 feet away, which is bad. And even worse than that is that shots from 5 to 9 feet, 13.
Imagine being just a couple of seasons into your professional career and deciding to compare yourself to one of the most legendary figures the sport has ever produced. That is exactly what happened when Angel Reese publicly aligned her own image with that of Michael Jordan. Not with another modern superstar, not with a recently retired icon, but with the 6-time NBA champion whose name has become synonymous with greatness itself. Jordan's career includes 6 championship rings, multiple MVP awards, and a career field goal percentage above 50%, achievements that defined basketball excellence for an entire generation. Because of that legacy, any comparison to Jordan naturally invites scrutiny. Fans, analysts, and former players often view such statements as challenges that must be backed up by extraordinary performance. The standard is extremely high, and history has shown that only a handful of players across decades have even come close to meeting it. For someone early in their professional journey, making such a comparison inevitably draws attention and debate. To understand Reese's perspective, however, it is important to recognize that her ambitions extend beyond simply being a strong player on the court. Over the past few years, she has been actively building a larger personal brand. She has secured endorsement partnerships, including a deal with Reebok, and has expanded her presence through media projects such as her own podcast. Her social media following continues to grow, and she frequently participates in live events and appearances designed to connect with fans beyond the basketball arena. Many athletes pursue a similar path. In today's sports environment, success is often measured not only by championships and statistics but also by cultural visibility and business ventures. Players are encouraged to think like entrepreneurs, developing brands that can thrive long after their playing careers end. From signature products to entertainment ventures, the modern athlete is expected to balance performance with personality. Reese appears to be following that blueprint. Her interviews and public appearances often highlight her desire to create a legacy that goes beyond basketball. By building a recognizable identity and expanding her influence across multiple platforms, she is positioning herself as a figure whose impact could reach entertainment, fashion, and media audiences as well as sports fans. However, the challenge with this approach arises when branding statements become closely tied to on-court performance comparisons. When a player references a legendary figure like Jordan, the conversation naturally shifts toward measurable results, statistics, wins, championships, and consistency. Fans begin evaluating whether the numbers support the narrative. This is where the tension between perception and production can appear. A powerful brand may generate attention and headlines, but the competitive world of professional sports still revolves around results on the court. Shooting percentages, playoff appearances, and team success remain the benchmarks by which players are ultimately judged. For Reese, the ambition to build a brand larger than basketball is not unusual. Many athletes strive to achieve exactly that. The difference lies in how public statements shape expectations. By invoking the name of Jordan, she invited comparisons that few players in any league have ever been able to sustain. That comparison transformed a simple branding effort into a broader debate about performance, influence, and the relationship between reputation and results in modern basketball culture.
It's like WNBA leveling up and all eyes on her now. I think that she knows that she has to completely restructure her form because that is not the way to be efficient in the post position that she is in. At the post position that she's in, a layup is supposed to be a given. She needs to improve her touch around the rim, like all over the place, but she seems to take these desperation shots.
A moment that instantly set the basketball world buzzing began with a bold statement from Angel Reese. During a public conversation, she confidently referred to herself as the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. It was not a joke or a passing comment, it was a serious claim delivered with conviction. In a league filled with accomplished veterans and rising stars, that comparison naturally sparked debate across sports media, fan communities, and social platforms. After all, comparing oneself to Michael Jordan, widely considered the greatest basketball player of all time, sets an incredibly high bar. The situation took an even more dramatic turn when one of the most respected pioneers in women's basketball entered the conversation. Lisa Leslie, a three-time MVP, two-time champion, and one of the foundational figures of the WNBA, appeared as a guest on Reese's own podcast. Leslie is widely recognized as the blueprint for dominant post players in women's basketball history. Her career helped shape how big players approach the game, combining skill, athleticism, and leadership at the highest level. During their discussion, Leslie did not shy away from addressing Reese's comments. Instead of avoiding the subject, she spoke directly and candidly about the expectations that come with invoking comparisons to icons like Jordan. Her response was firm, honest, and rooted in experience. Fans watching the conversation quickly realized they were witnessing a rare moment, one where a legend of the game confronted a young star's bold claim in real time. The exchange spread rapidly across sports networks and social media platforms because of how direct the conversation became. At the same time, another major storyline in women's basketball was unfolding. While debates around Reese's statement dominated online discussions, Caitlin Clark was receiving recognition on an entirely different level. Clark had just been named one of the most powerful women in sports by Forbes, a distinction that highlights athletes whose influence extends beyond their performance on the court. Her impact was being measured not just in statistics but in viewership numbers, sponsorship growth, and the rapidly expanding popularity of the league. Clark's presence has been widely credited with helping draw unprecedented attention to the WNBA. Television ratings have surged, arenas have filled with new fans, and national conversations about women's basketball have become more prominent than ever before. Industry analysts have even connected the league's recent media rights growth to the surge of interest surrounding players like Clark. The difference between individual hype and measurable league-wide impact suddenly became a central topic in basketball discussions. This contrast created a compelling narrative, one player making bold statements about her legacy, and another quietly reshaping the business side of the sport through performance and popularity. Fans, analysts, and commentators began debating which kind of influence truly moves the game forward. Is it the athlete who dominates headlines with confidence and personality, or the one whose performances bring millions of viewers and transform the league's financial landscape? The debate continues to divide fans across the basketball community. Some admire Reese's fearless confidence and willingness to build a strong personal brand. Others believe Clark's measurable impact on ratings and league visibility represents the real definition of influence. Regardless of where people stand, the discussion highlights a fascinating moment for women's basketball, one where personalities, performance, and cultural impact are colliding in ways the sport has rarely seen before.